Well, hello, guys. Welcome back. Pagan Story Hour. Oh, dear Lord. Be careful what you pray for because you'll get it and you won't get it in a form you expect. I'd asked Odin to prove he was interested. And what happens? I start to transition to another pantheon, right? And it was odd because I kind of had this vision this morning. And I thought it was Odin in the vision or not. And by vision I mean I'm laying there in bed and I'm just visualizing, not the heavens opened up and God himself almighty came charging towards me. I'm getting giggles and tears back here. And it's this old man in this beautiful gray robe. It would remind you of mist or something. It's beautiful. It's gray. It's almost silvery. And he has a silver staff that it looks like it's shaped like wood, right? Like a stout oaken staff. And I can see it's a silver staff, yet it feels like it's made out of wood, and yet I'm feeling it's Gungnir. And I'm like, okay. And he's an old man, but he doesn't look like the old man. And we're standing by the sea, and he's holding sort of like it's kind of looks like the globe from the turret, but it's just bands, interlocking bands together. And I have a sense there should be a second staff to his other side, like he's trying to reference the turret as himself. We're by the sea, but there's a cave as well. I'm like, okay. And I go forward, and this god sort of like very loosely clasps me, puts his arm around me. And yet at the same time he's holding the globe, and I'm like, well, he's a god, he can do whatever he damn well pleases. And it's like he's trying to protect me, and it feels like it's Odin, yet it feels like someone pretending to be Odin. And yet it feels like a third god, and it's like there's three gods here, and I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm trying to figure this out, and I'm trying to figure this out. And I spend all day looking at Ireland and it's later than I think it is. All day looking at Ireland and going here and going there and doing all this investigation, and I'm like, this really doesn't match up Ireland. The Irish gods really haven't been matching up with Ireland. It's almost like somebody was putting on window dressing. I call it god puppets because sometimes it's like just to amuse themselves, other gods make a puppet of another god and they kind of wave it at you to see if you'll fall for it. I get back here. I knew it. And it didn't make sense. And as I was interacting with the Irish gods this morning, supposed Irish gods, the energy was too familiar. And I was really close to figuring stuff out, but everybody was distracting me, yeah. And I had asked Odin to show me he was interested, to show me he still wanted to work together and he still wanted a relationship, but you remember last night he said he was leaving through the runes. I'm like, okay. And yet he was back this morning. And I'm like, I'm confused. I go on Pinterest, wolf puppies fall out of the sky, like out of nowhere, and wolves and horses and everything else. And I kept thinking of that magic stuff, and I looked that up today too, and I really couldn't find a reference to it. I'm like waking up thinking, I know this god that has this stuff. I've worked with him before. And like, well, who was it then? Because I can't recall. Um, one of the things we usually don't talk about is that Odin has a triple god aspect. And I've often wondered if it wasn't just a metaphor for something because, there's only one reference to it, and people are arguing it might not even be Odin, the three men sitting on the chairs, or thrones, depending on which interpretation you read. And I don't know, man. I don't know. But I go on Reddit. Yes, I know Reddit. And too much stuff that I was reading in this particular response to someone met up with the dream. And Bing had a picture of a cave today near water, and I'm like, this is definitely the old man, because the old man speaks to me through media. And it's like whoever this god is, and I'm leaning towards the old man, is jamming communication so no one else can come through. all my speaker problems had cleared up, and then, one second guys, let me have a sip of coffee before I cough on you. All my speaker problems had cleared up, and now I was getting a little today. I'm like, okay, somebody wants me to pay attention, somebody wants me to figure this out. Or, you know, my speakers are NARF, my sound card's NARF, you take your pick. But still, you know, I think Odin is so complex and he tests you. Because I notice if Odin's leaving, you all get happy. And if Odin comes back, nobody watches the channel. And Odin really is a god of sacrifice. And if I had to sacrifice a channel to make him happy, he would be like, remember, he's a god of kings. He's a god of rulership and kingship. And he's not holding anything else out in exchange. It's not like you sacrifice the channel and continue to work with me because you should be loyal to me because I'm your god. I will give you this. Odin is not holding out a damn thing. Only thing I know is that Hermes seems to know who it is, and he's miserable, and it feels like Hermes is living on borrowed time. And Loki is absolutely calm. And if Loki is absolutely calm, I know it has to involve one of the Norse gods because he's absolutely calm and he sees absolutely no threat. If Loki were panicking, I would panic because that would be bad. But Loki is absolutely calm and he's just looking at me like he's fairly disgusted with me because I should recognize this god after all this time. I said, then the only one it could be is be your brother. He goes, hmm. I said, but he's being, lately, Odin's personality has been transitioning. I said, he's being nice. And he says, hmm. I said, no, truly nice, Loki. He goes, I know. I said, no, truly nice, not Odin nice, truly nice. I know. And I just looked at him and he goes, oh, father. And I just kind of looked at him. I said, you and your brother are the most terrifying deities I've ever met. I know, give me a pizza. So, you know, I'm getting cheering back there. So, apparently that aspect of Odin that gets made fun of by most macho Brawlhalla dudes does exist. And I've met him, apparently. And he's really nice and he's really kind. I mean, you think Osuke is nice? This is even nicer. This is even gentler and softer and kind and sweet. And I've been looking at him like, who could you possibly be? You're not Odin. So I don't know. I don't know. Either Odin's lost it or I've lost it or we both got Barbie together. I thought he said goodbye last night. I don't know. Odin confuses me. Odin's people are just constantly dazed and confused wolves that are just looking at the Allfather like, huh? I don't know what you want. You're confusing me. He's not a god of, like, comfort you and tell you things really easy and say, here you go, here's the book of your life. He is not. And his brother's my other main deity. You know that. So, everybody's gonna stop watching the channel, but if the Allfather wants a sacrifice and he thinks the channel is the only thing it'll do, you know, sometimes he demands steep sacrifices, and he won't even tell you what they're for, and you might not even find out. With Odin, there's no guarantee you're gonna get something in exchange, but if this is Odin going to all this trouble, it's only what I asked him for. I asked him to prove he cared and he still wanted to be my god. And if Odin chose a very ineffable way to show me that, then, you know, so be it. So if he wants a channel sacrifice to him, and Loki's totally calm with it, by the way. Loki's fine. It's not like Loki's going to go anywhere. We're shutting down the channel, but I know with the old man here, we're done. I know we're toast. But you know, he's worth it. He's worth the sacrifice. You'll learn as you work more with Loki, even if you stop watching the channel. You're gonna have to make your peace with all the other gods. As I've told you guys before, you're gonna have to make your peace with the old man. You're gonna have to make your peace with Scotty. You're gonna have to make your peace with all the other gods and goddesses. If you get close to Loki's family, you're gonna have to make your peace with Thor, having the conflict with Jormungandr and everything else. You're gonna just have to make your peace with it, man, and you're gonna have to sort out your feelings in your own chosen speed. That's all I can advise you about. But we had a good run, I suppose. I'm not stopping in the channel, but I'm like, I know this. This will be the day we're toast. But if this is a sacrifice, I'm formally setting the sacrifice out before the old man, and so be it. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.